Hey guys, what's cooking? Stuart Charles here, HomeStudioBasics.com, helping you make sound decisions. So today, we're going to talk about the FiiO A3, or FiiO, whatever, headphone amp, and we're going to also do a shootout with the E10K and Q1. The E10K is a combo amp DAC, the FiiO Q1 is also a combo amp DAC, and the A3 is labeled as a headphone amp slash preamp, but I didn't really see, it comes with a USB cable, but strangely enough, I plugged mine in and it didn't do anything. So I've been using it as just an amp paired with the E10K as a DAC, and I used it out of my phone, and I also used it straight out of the line out of my laptop. So basically just using it as an amp. I found a few sites that said it was a DAC, but they were kind of unreliable, just random people saying that it was a DAC. Most professional websites just say headphone amp. I'm inclined to say it's a headphone amp slash preamp. So let's get right into build. The Q1 is the heaviest out of the three. So the Q1 comes in at 100 grams, the A3 92 grams, and the E10K is the lightest at 79 grams. But keep in mind the E10K is bus powered only, whereas the other two have rechargeable batteries inside. So that contributes to the weight a little bit. So in your hand, the E10K is gonna feel cheaper, but it's not a cheap amp, it just feels a little bit lighter. As far as the volume potentiometers on the three, the E10K's is the largest. It sits on the right hand side. The volume pot on the A3 is in the middle, and it's the smallest out of the three, so the Q1's also sits on the right. The E10K's volume pot and the A3's are both numbered. The E10K's is numbered 1 through 8, while the A3's is numbered 1 through 9. The E10K is a little bit bulkier and taller, and also slimmer in width, versus the Q1 is longer, but it's also thinner than the E10K, and the A3 is a little bit shorter than the Q1, but the Q1 is a little bit slimmer than the A3, but not by much. So the Q1 is definitely the most elegant out of these three. In my opinion, it looks the best, followed by the A3, which sort of looks like a flask. So if you wanted to get trashed and then listen to music, I would recommend this. So
we're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
Finish, you'll notice that both the A3 and the E10K have a brushed aluminum finish. It's not rough, but it's a little bit rougher versus the very, very smooth matte black finish of the Q1. When you turn on the A3, a light actually comes on in the back, so you have to turn it around to see. When it's charging, the blue light will flash, and when it's fully charged, it remains solid blue. But one of the downsides to the A3 is that it doesn't show any other color, so as it's losing charge, it still stays blue. You're not going to know when it's getting low on charge, so you might be listening to music like I was and it just goes dead and it won't do anything. When that happens, don't fret. I was like kind of confuzzled. Cornfuzzled. Kind of a hassle, a little bit of an inconvenience for me. Of course, with the E10K, you turn the knob and the blue light comes on in the front, and it's bus powered. You don't have to charge or anything like that. But the Q1, you turn the knob and a blue light also comes on. So features. The biggest difference between the E10K and the A3 is that the E10K is of course bus powered, while the A3 runs off of a battery. So on the E10K, we have line out, coaxial out, micro USB, and of course the bass boost on the front and the gain switch on the back. Now, the line out has gotten the most use for me. It's just incredibly versatile, because if you just have this lying around, you can just use it as a DAC into another headphone amp, such as the Objective 2, which I've been doing lately. Like if you buy this to start, you can always upgrade just your amp later. Like you could buy an XCAN from iFi, or you can buy an Objective 2, just any amp that has line out on it. You can also use it as a converter. So some DACs only have coax and toslink capabilities. If your computer doesn't have those, you can use the E10K to convert the signal from USB to coax and then connect the other DAC to the E10K. Now, that's a little bit complicated sounding. Basically, it would just look like you plug this in via USB into your PC as normal, but then you would use the coax from the back of here into the other amp, and then plug your headphones into that amp, so you could just use that instead of the E10K. So very, very handy. Another option you have is to run a Toslink cable from a receiver or TV into a converter, then run a cable from the other end of the converter into the E10K. Now you can use it with your TV. So what does this thing not do? Yeah, with the A3 we've got the gain switch and the bass boost on the front this time, but instead of flicking, like when the bass boost is in the off position, you flick left instead of right, which is kind of weird. But the gain, you flick right, so you go from low to high, left to right. On the back we have auxiliary in, which is basically the same thing as line out. It's also got the 3.5mm headphone jack on the back, which was kind of awkward for me, to be honest. I don't know why they did that. Design wise, I don't know if that was the best choice. The Q1's got, of course, the 2.5mm balanced jack on the front, as well as the standard 3.5 next to it. It's also got line out. It supports DSD as well. So a standard DSD file is the same exact thing as a 24-bit 88K file. So whenever people tell you that DSD is better, just slap them in the face like Batman. Like people who have balanced headphones, like audiophiles who have balanced headphones already, definitely can benefit from this. It provides more power balance, and we'll get into that in a second. On the back you've got the bass boost and the gain switch, as well as the micro USB, but these switches are a little bit harder to adjust. Both the E10K and the A3, they resemble like tiny little sticks, so you can flick them a lot easier. With the Q1, it takes a little bit more doing. For me, I have to grab the unit physically and then just do it like that way. It's very, very hard to just reach back there and adjust it. Not hard, but a little harder than an E10K. I can just quickly flick it. So let's talk a little bit about power output and ergonomics. The E10K outputs 200 milliwatts at 32 ohms. The A3 outputs 270 milliwatts at 32 ohms, so a little bit more. It doesn't take quite as long to get to an acceptable listening level with the A3. The Q1 outputs 220 milliwatts at 32 ohms, but this is balanced only. Unbalanced, it only provides 7 milliwatts into 300 ohms, which I kind of dogged the Q1 for this, but I've noticed actually that it makes, like this amp makes a really, really great pairing with, even unbalanced, with the HD600. I found with the gain switch on, it got plenty loud enough, and because of its warmer tilt, it makes the HD600 sound really, really good. So we'll get into sound right now. The A3 and the E10K have a very similar sound. I've been demoing these. I've had the E10K since October of 2018, and the Q1 I got a few months after that. The sound of the E10K and the A3 is very, very similar. It's a sterile, clean, neutral, clinical, kind of not cold sounding, but very, very crisp, with a little bit of emphasis on the upper mids and treble to my ears. It's very, very clear and detailed. The Q1, like I mentioned a second ago, has a warmer tilt, so still retaining all that great detail, but just sounds really incredible with a headphone like the HD600, because it tends to tame down that forward mid-range that kind of gets annoying after a while on the 600s. Yeah, like I would consider the Q1 like this stoner guy in high school who didn't care about anything because he was a nihilist.
Are these the Nazis, Walter?
No, Johnny, these men are nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Between the A3 and the E10K, pretty much the same sound. I would say the E10K is slightly grainier sounding. Like the A3 is just a little bit cleaner, but it's also interesting because the A3 is cheaper than the E10K. It comes in around $55, whereas the E10K is always hovered around $75. So I prefer the A3's sound to the E10K's, but only by a very, very slight margin. Final word for your phone, definitely the Q1. I kind of dumped on the Q1 a little bit when I first was reviewing it, but I've really come to love this thing. Great for audiophiles, great if you have balanced headphones. The specs would say it doesn't provide a lot of power, but I found with the gain switch on, I got a really, really good sound with the HD600. As far as the A3 and Q1, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy this if I could just buy one of the other two. Yeah, if you're on a budget, I would just save up a little bit more and go with an E10K for your desktop or the Q1 for portable. So that's about it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my growing channel. Let me know what I can do to improve. Let me know what I do well. And with that,
Check 1 2. I hope you enjoyed this review too. It was brought to you by Stu, who
me, the lyrical G, empirical dreams slide through like dream. PC gaming, letting off steam, got bars for days like a prison inmate. A misdemeanor's fate, no debate when I wake up. Okay, start my day with a cup and I pray I don't faint. I'm a saint of the Most High God, of the Most High God.